So, as you know, that relations between the European Union and India have not been so solid in the last previous years, primarily because India has developed close relations with some of the individual EU member states such as France and Germany, but not necessarily with the European Union as such. But I think in recent years there has also been a realization that Brussels need to engage more with New Delhi, particularly as the continent looks at the Russian invasion of Ukraine and India faces the Chinese aggression in the Indo-Pacific. So there is a realization that both countries need to do more, especially in the arenas of defense, cyber, technology and those kind of things. So I'm expecting that the upcoming summit will also focus on some of these things.
Okay, and about the global security, what are the obstacles about Russian and Ukrainian war?
So the obstacles, I think, is fundamentally between the fact that even as the West has tried to portray the Russian invasion of Ukraine as a battle between the democracies and the autocracies, the fact is that many non-European democracies have not really perceived it that way. And that's primarily because of their focus on their own national interests as against what the West perceives as its own interests. And which is why you see that there are many non-European democracies which have consistently abstained at the United Nations General Assembly resolutions whenever it comes to the Ukraine crisis. So I think that fundamental divergence between the West and some of the other non-European democracies is, I think, going to affect a lot of how the Russia-Ukraine war plays out. Yes, the trade negotiations have been going on between India and European Union for a very long time. But I think again, that there is a realization that as there is a worldwide movement towards de-risking from the dependence on the Chinese manufacturing, I think India and EU have realized that they also need to expedite their own trade negotiations so that European Union can benefit from India's manufacturing sector and India can benefit from EU's thriving technology sector. So even though there are these differences such as on the sustainability and on human rights issues, I think they will overcome those in the coming months.
And how the two countries can benefit from each other, in what ways?
Oh, there are many areas. For instance, if you look at, the technology sector, India is doing a lot in the startup and innovation sector, and I think European Union can benefit from that, primarily because the European Union also needs to is also focusing on some of the emerging technologies such as quantum, robotics, and I think India can prove a big market for that. We also talked about the trade and market. I think that also can be a big source for the European economies if they expand their presence in the Indian market. And in the defense technology also, as India is trying to develop its own domestic defense industrial capability, it is also looking at like-minded partners in the European Union. France and Germany have taken the lead to explore the defense relations with India, but I think there is also scope for other European powers to explore that particular space.